Hi stamping friends, I want to show you how to do card number 3 in the June 2014 online stamp club with Sharon Armstrong. I am your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I love doing these online classes. I thought they were so fun, and I wanted to show you a few tricks on making this congrats card. Okay, so the packet that you got had Whisper White card base. Let me take everything out. And it also had your Mossy Meadow, whoops, little polka dot there, already run through the Big Shot for you, which that's the beauty of this class. Anything like that I do ahead of time for you. And so I'll put that aside. Then you also received all of your little circles that were punched out that were also run through the embossing folder. And to let you know how I did that, I just ran quarter sheets of cardstock through and then began punching out all of y'all's circles. Okay, so whenever you're doing that, it's just easier than punching them all out and then doing it, unless you're just doing one card. Okay, so if that's the case, you would just take the embossing folder, punch out your circles, lay it on there, and I like to have a dedicated set of embossing plates for my embossing. The cutting plates get really well loved and cut up, but I keep a set that says embossing, whoops, let me turn that around, embossing folders only, and I like to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make my sandwich. Everything you do with the Big Shot is a sandwich, putting my first plate on my platform, and then I'm going to take my embossing folder, lay that on there, and then just crank it through. And now I have polka dots. The small polka dotted folder is when I first realized that if I used the well-loved plates with my cutting that have been cut with the dies, some of my polka dots didn't show up on my full piece of paper. And I thought something was wrong with the folder. It wasn't. It's because when you use well-loved plates that get a little bit of a warp to them, then you don't have a nice smooth surface to get all those dots. So just a little tip for you. Let me set this aside. Okay. All right, so some of you may have gotten a different color of ribbon. I had so many people join this club and I kind of miscalculated, but I decided that instead of stressing about it, that instead of you getting the Hello Honey ribbon, that you could get the Tango Twist, okay? So one little tip that I thought is kind of fun, when you're putting the ribbon under the card, sometimes you feel like, how do I hold it in place? What do I do? So I wanted to teach you a little trick. You're going to get a office stapler, and I love this one, but I'm going to go ahead and staple that. And so now my ribbon has a staple in it, and it's not going to lose its little V shape, okay? So now let's assemble the card. If you don't have the Stampin' Up! Simply Scored, you can go ahead and just fold your cardstock, use a bone folder, okay, and go ahead and get that good crisp fold for your card. Now remember, we're using, we have textured paper, so I want to go ahead and use the liquid Tombow glue to put my first layer on. Okay, get that all on the edges. All right, layer this on here. Okay, so then for all of your circles, you can start deciding how you want them. They're all different sizes. You don't have to stress about which one goes where, things like that. Go ahead and get my congrats, my Whisper White paper that was in your packet, and going to use the Bravo stamp set, and I've already talked about this on some of the other videos, but this is a photopolymer stamp set, which means it's totally see-through, and the photopolymer stamps are made with light, so when you're not using your stamps, put them back in the case and store them out of the way of light so that you don't damage your stamps. So I'm going to get out the congrats. And this is a big stamp. Where's my block? Okay. It's see-through. I can't see my clear block. Let me grab it. I really just had it on the other side of the table. Sorry about that. Okay, so you just pull the sheets apart like that. And these are very sticky, which is good because they stick to those clear blocks. And what I really like about them is that they're squishy. They're just like the rubber stamps when you're inking them up and stamping. I love that squishy feel. And these are squishy. Now, you're going to need a fairly large block for that. So make sure that you have one on hand. And you should be able to, yep, that's going to fit. So now I want to get my Mossy Meadow stamp pad out. By the way, if you don't know how to open up our pads, there are 3 little belly button looking holes here. Aim that towards your belly button. Thumbnail right there, pops right up, swing it around. There you go. Okay. And I do like to ink up, when I have a stamp that's kind of skinny on my block, I like to ink it up upside down. That way I am not inking up the block, I'm just inking up the stamp. Make sense? All right, so going to ink that up and see how you can see right through it? So cool. So you can have just skinny little pieces of paper and still be able to use them because you can see exactly where you're stamping. There you go. Okay, you're just going to assemble your card. You can use dimensionals to layer this on. You can use the liquid Tombow. And I am not seeing my layer here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of paper. And I'm just going to grab a different color because I don't seem to have that ready for the video. You would think I would know what I was doing by now, but guess not. Let's see here. Let me just cut a piece real quick. And let's just trim that down a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use some snail. Don't have to use a whole lot, remember. Use some snail. I want to show you how to put that ribbon on. Okay. So you've got your ribbon on the back, all right? So you can just attach it here. You could use some glue dots. You could use some, and I prefer glue dots because it is a little bit stickier than the snail. And I'm going to just stick a few here. By the way, I'm lifting them off with my snips. I'm not opening the snips. I'm just leaving them on, leaving them closed. And then I can just stick that there. Ta-da! It stays. Doesn't move. Isn't that fun? All right. Notice that's a little bit longer. Trim that off. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just put some Tombow on these little circles. And just layer those. I'm going to put 3 underneath, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this because then that way it's going to clear that ribbon. You don't want a little buckle there with the ribbon bubbling up underneath. Again, stick your fingernail in the backing of that dimensional. It releases. Throw it aside, clean it up later. You know, I tell you, my stamp room always ends up in such a mess. I don't know about yours. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and eyeball this and put it right here. Now, you'll notice that my ribbon is a little bit longer, and that's okay. I would rather have sent you longer ribbon than shorter ribbon. So now I can trim it right where I want it. There you go. So I still have one more little dot, and I think for fun, I'm going to go ahead and just put that on with a dimensional, and that way it'll kind of pop up. And let's see, where do I want it? I think I want it over there. I like it over there. Your instructions have it over here, but the way I put my tail on, that sounds funny, I decided I wanted it over there. So make the card your own. Feel free to have fun, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. So next video will be video number 4 for the June 2014 Online Stamp Club with Sharon Armstrong. If you're not a member of that club, check out my information below the video and we can get you signed up. Have a great day.